Hello, welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Kelsey, and I am an actor and voice actor living in Chicago. And today I will be reacting to, I don't know how to pronounce this, Caves of Cood review by SsethTzeentach. I'm sure he's going to say it, so I'm sure I'm going to learn in a second, but Caves of Cood? Who knows? But before we get started, I just wanted to let you all know that we have a Discord server. I'm in there sometimes, mostly in the memes page. We have channel. We have channels for just talking about stuff, video games, memes. It's all there. Oh, you can get in the Discord. You get notified when we are streaming on Twitch. You can get our tweets. It's like a feed of our tweets is in there. It's, all the good stuff. Everything everybody wants. So if you'd like to join our Discord, you can do that. The link is in the description below, and I'll see you there. Cool. Caves of Cood. Let's do it.
Hey people, Seth here. Have you
Hey.
ever dug too deep and found something they don't want you to know?
Sandy Loam.
Who is she?
Who is
and
she?
why can't I reach her? Have you ever fallen out with someone and restored your friendship using quantum entanglement to retroactively rewrite history and save them from a car crash that never actually happened? Have you ever wanted to skip a lifetime of formal education just by cooking a banana? And finally, have you ever had a fungal infection on your arm that, despite your best efforts, won't go away? No problem. Just cut it off. Then stab a syringe filled with anabolic growth hormones right into your chest.
A torrent
and
of life.
grow a new one. As you well know, mushrooms are a great source of protein. I just hope you're not picky about the origin of that protein. Everything said could be described as the raving of a paranoid schizophrenic, but it isn't. It's an everyday occurrence in the Caves of Cood, which I'm not sure how to say, so we'll just use the
No one knows how to say it. I love that.
acronym instead. COC is like the negligent supervisor to a kindergarten daycare. When the kids ask him if they can collectively mutilate themselves in the sandbox, he doesn't say, "No, don't do that." He says, "Give it a try. See what happens." Caves of Cood is an open-ended sandbox roguelike which is still in development. Despite this, it's entirely playable and extremely fun. Fun, which I define as I spent half a day with my screen looking like this. And I had to kill a man for his tattoo gun so I could drink the ink, pull the cord on a flashbang, and explode it into my open eyes. Why? Because in this game, that's how you cure monochromia. If pain and suffering are the extra edge to your enjoyment, you're gonna have a great time. If you're asking yourself right now, Seth, what the fuck am I looking at? It might not be your cup of tea, but I don't drink tea because they tampered my water supply, and ever since I started drinking from a public tap, I've been getting more and more of these androgynous body pillows. Let's be real here. Caves of Cood, cock, is not the prettiest of games. This is probably the
wild
only game you
looking.
can get caught playing in the office and have your boss look at the screen and think, "Damn, my man's Excel spreadsheet looks fucked up." It's not a very visual game, even though there are some nice visuals here and there. You're gonna have to use imagination.
That's a fun little animation.
And if you can't, take my word for it that this random collection of pixels is actually a small farming community. So, what's the story of Cood? I don't know. There used to be an advanced transhumanist civilization living on Cood, but they're not around anymore. Instead, we got mutated everything from humans to trees, from pigs to chimpanzees. Everything thinks, feels, and the plants talk behind your back. Welcome to Cood. It's a complete madhouse.
Electrified metal folding chair.
Colorful. To play this stupid game, you need to make a character for which you've
Also, the fact that the loading screen looks nothing like there's not a hint of the visuals you're gonna get in the actual game.
Got two options: mutant
not a hint.
or true.
Where are the
king.
caves?
What's the difference?
I see no
Mutants
caves.
Are genetic freaks, and they randomly mutate their genome as they level up, which includes but not limited to heads,
Wolverine's classic
multiple
level up.
hands, 2 hearts, paralyzing stingers, regrowing limbs, the ability to fly, the ability to induce a brain aneurysm, spontaneous combustion, teleportation, phasing through solid objects, and even infinite nutrition from the sun. problem because your skin is made of chlorophyll. So,
Hey, I
what's
wish.
the downside? You're a horrific abomination. And if you encounter a certain holy inquisition of turbo-augmented race purists, they'll kill you on sight. Conversely, true to
Yikes.
the name, Truekin are humans that haven't mutated. They don't get mutations. They get cybernetic augmentations. These don't come cheap. You first need to obtain an implant, whether by chance or by cutting the electronics out of a dead Templar. Then you need to
Okay.
find an autonomous upgrade terminal, which, upon detecting that you are indeed a pure-blooded human, refers to you as aristocrat and allows you to install as
You get a
many
wig?
implants as you want, provided your body has space and provided you did not forget to upgrade.
Can you imagine going to be like, you know what? Let's give me robot eyes. Let's give me robot eyebrows. And then the things like air or disk space full. And you look down and you're just fully a robot. And you're like, not again.
Your cybernetic software license, because even if a world is over, we cannot forget the importance of arbitrary bureaucratic administration. And by God, you're going to follow strict HR protocol to get your transhumanist upgrades. Every registered cybernetic in your body runs a license cost. The
Fire
total
suppression.
cannot exceed the license, which you have to upgrade
No
using
human
cybernetic
combustion.
credits. These are exceptionally rare, and there's no easy way of finding them. And rightly so, because cybernetics are absolutely ridiculous. Tired of your tiny, feminine hands? Giant hands. Afraid of dying? On board, intravenous
Forced to
AI-controlled
wipe.
injectors designed to pump you full of life-saving chemicals depending on the situation instantaneously. Do you want to
Hey.
fabricate narcotics in the middle of combat? We can install fingers on top of your fingers. And if you ever change your mind, you can swap them out for something else. However, amputating your legs to replace them with a set of motorized tank treads is, unfortunately, an irreversible process. Personally, I recommend you play a mutant when starting out. There's not really any bad choices in character creation, but realistically, don't get too attached to your first dozen. Once you're more confident, you can play Truekin instead, and abuse the system so hard, you'll forget the original purpose of this game. Attributes are simple, combat is even simpler, which is convenient because fighting is the main way to level up. You're going to be doing a lot of fighting, and death is an ever-present reality,
Handy
especially
nuke.
at lower levels. If I'm
Salt
to be very
hopper.
honest with you, most of you will reach Red Rock for one of the early quests and get stoned to death by a pack of bloodthirsty baboons. My advice, get a
hate to
gun.
see
There's
it.
a lot of dangers out there, but bullets don't discriminate. They only penetrate. This game is all about risk.
Those sound effects are wild. They sound like something in like a, just like in a game I would have played at age like 7 on my parents' Windows 95 or something like that.
Management, and there's no telling what you're going to encounter because nearly everything is randomly generated and unique to your save file. The settlements, the cultures, the lore, the layouts of dungeons
Rolling
and
chair.
dwellings across the world, and even the pharmacological treatment for different types of disease are built completely out of RNG. Amazingly, it actually works most of the time. The only things that stay the same are the location of unique settlements, the topography of the map, and of course, the main quest line. Caves of Qud is quite unique in this regard, since most roguelikes don't have an overarching story. It's currently unfinished, so consider it entirely optional if you're looking to follow an objective and possibly, probably, most
Loaded leech.
likely, die in the process. If it makes you feel any better, most players get to Golgotha, and then they quit. In my case, I got to Golgotha, came back, and then I realized that wasn't the hard part. What did he mean by this? I'm not gonna tell you. You're gonna have to experience that for yourself. I'm not joking when I say this game has one of the steepest difficulty curves, and one fatal mistake could end your entire playthrough. Or, you know, just hit Alt F4 and never tell anyone. Let me tell you about mechanics. Firstly, overlay UI. Turn it on.
What is this game? They've got rifle turrets. They've got like glowing mushrooms, and then they've got like you pet so and so meows, not confirmed that it's a cat, and you start to glow. They got rolling chair technology. There's so much going
I
on.
have no idea why it's not the default, but it's virtually unplayable without it.
Are we in a
There's lot of
cave? I don't get
interesting
it.
monster designs in this game. Interesting in their design to creatively reduce your life expectancy. Most common cause of death, a brick wall, because for some reason, mimics are level 25 and still generate where they shouldn't. That's good programming. Just like choosing Unity to be the basis of your sandbox roguelike. How about Rusty Sawblade that dismembers on every hit? I hope hope you have an extra head, because otherwise it's game over. On the bright side, equipping your severed face as a homemade facial accessory is both fashionable and attractive. Do you like bananas? How about being peeled like a banana? Because for about half the banana trees in this game, the fruit comes to them. This may surprise newer players, as pressing Auto Explore in the Banana Grove is a guaranteed single-click shortcut to being disemboweled. Have you ever wondered about the struggle of living with dyslexia? If so, encounter a psychic master and his slaves, and you won't have to wonder anymore. And why not say, fuck it, let's add a giant magnet to the game, because stripping you of your dignity is no longer enough. We're going to forcibly strip you of your items as well. And considering most people have auto pickup turned on by default, watch as your character is forced into an infinite dance of losing items, picking them up only to lose them again until you starve to death or smash escape fast enough to turn it off. You know the Great Pyramids of Egypt? Imagine they could fly. Now imagine you fused it with a Sherman T-34 Calliope and expanded the rocket tubes to 100. Not too bad when you consider a rocket salvo is only 10, unless they get you up against a wall, in which case you get slammed repeatedly until they empty the entire rack. And then they fabricate and replace each and every high explosive missile in a single turn. At this point, why not give it an automatic force field and the ability to randomly teleport across the map? Everything described as an enemy inside Caves of Quud. Is it a unique optional boss fight? No, it is a common occurrence in the Deathlands, known only as a Chrome Pyramid. And if you see your screen vibrating and glitching, it's a good time to leave. If that sounds overwhelming, let me assure you that's not the case, because every creature in this game, from birds to trees, plants to ants, baboons to raccoons, fish, everything belongs to a specific faction, and their relation to you is dependent on your reputation with a group. If you're hated,
cats and dogs have holy places.
Try to rip you apart. If you're loved, even the most aggressive members will protect you as one of their own. This applies to others as well.
Chimps eat the fuck out of monkeys.
And the relation between factions controls their behavior. Let's say you wear a beaded bracelet. This tricks baboons into thinking you're one of their own. That doesn't mean they're not aggressive. That just means they're not aggressive to you.
They hunt. They hunt monkeys. They corral them in. It's the most ruthless shit, because there's a video of this chimp eating a monkey while it's alive. It's holding onto the monkey and biting its hips and just pulling chunks of meat while the monkey's screaming like, ah!
So how do you influence reputation? Reputation isn't affected.
I'm impressed that Seth was able to work that whole clip in there
by helping or killing normal people.
Only relevant.
Celebrities. Much like real life, if you kill a lot of short people, they won't rise up against you. But if you kill a famous Minecraft YouTuber the size of a small child, they'll start to notice. Every faction randomly generates legendary characters, and interacting, bonding, or straight up murdering them will influence your reputation, depending on that character's personal history. For example, this is
that's good.
A legendary baboon queen. She is naturally loved by her people. However, she accidentally dug up some robot's dead grandfather, probably a TI-84 calculator. She also sold confidential banking details.
Yeah, with like the screen has long since been dark, but you can see faintly faded on there. 80085.
From one village and stole some shit from another.
That's what I'm choosing to believe.
These factions don't like her, and smacking her dead with a heavy branch would probably make a lot of people, excluding those that use shit as a projectile, incredibly happy. Now, the most precious resource in Quud is water.
But do you want to get skinned by baboons?
So the act of sharing your water is one of the most culturally significant actions you can take. Your first is mine, my water is yours. Performing a water ritual will bond you together and strengthen relations. The factions that like them will like you even more, but the factions that don't will dislike you by association. However, sharing water with another only later to betray your brother is the worst crime you can possibly commit, and even the enemy of thy enemy will regard you, the kinslayer, with open hatred, as will every faction in the game. Of course, you can always use a Schrodinger's page. Remember, it's not considered historical revision.
On the 6th of Tishru, 2 Libiliana vibribius became admired by fish for saving one of their young from drowning. Isn't that a nice story?
when you're doing it with quantum entanglement. As briefly mentioned, water is the most valuable commodity. That's why we don't have currency. Water is currency. We don't go by greenback or gold. We go by water. And we trade it by the dram. 1 dram of water is approximately 1/8 of a fluid ounce, or about 3.6 ml. It is the smallest unit of trade, and a water skin can hold up to 64 drams of fluid.
That's not a lot.
Ounces, or about 230 ml. In Caves of Quud, we drink our currency. In this world, poverty isn't begging on the streets. Poverty is dying of thirst. And so you need water to live or trade, meaning your currency is actually damn heavy, and there's only so many water skins you can carry around. It's an interesting system, effectively forcing you to trade valuables.
Is that a croc moccasin combo?
To even out the difference. But to even earn your water, you're going to have to go into the great unknown. Explore, plunder, and pillage your way across the world, and hopefully you can come back alive. It's going to be dangerous, but when the alternative is certain death, I think I'll take my options. Survival is not easy, but the game offers you a diverse variety of skills to help you stay alive. Each time you level up, you get skill points, which can be freely distributed to suit your character. Finding combinations that work is a matter of experimentation. For example, I once made a mutant with 6 arms, with an axe in each hand. Axes specialize.
That's just medieval General Grievous.
In dismemberment, and dual welding specializes in attacking simultaneously with each arm. Each turn, my abomination took off up to 6 limbs, including the head. And believe me, everything eventually runs out of limbs. On top of that, you'll run into items you don't understand. These will be described as an artifact and require successful identification to properly
Gotta do research.
For example, if your character is a complete dumbass, he has no concept of a folding chair. Instead, he'll see it as a collection of strange tubes. Also, that's kind of fun. Don't own, because in the process of delicately smashing it to pieces, you might unintentionally break it. And the excuse of "sorry, I was just identifying" doesn't work when you're being violently murdered by a pack of villagers. Artifacts are amazing and offer you great flexibility, often augmenting or replacing abilities you don't have with their mechanized technological equivalent. These include, but are not limited to, instant teleportation to any XYZ coordinate, biodynamic fuel cells powered by blood, handheld grenades, or even a pair of rocket skates designed for their intended purpose to burn down.
I don't understand what is the frame for this civilization? Because there's rocket boots and rifle turrets. I think it was something like that. And, rolly chairs. But then there's also, like Iron Age stuff going on. I don't understand. I don't understand this world. I don't know why it's called caves. Are we in a cave? When are we? Where are we? I know a lot about what are we, but I have no idea when or where we are. I'm along for the ride.
Every forest in the game. Not only can you use them, but with a tinkering skill, you can also craft them. And provided you've got the appropriate blueprints, you can.
I thought that said grenade milk.
Also modify them to your
I was
heart's content.
Not going to be surprised.
Time that seemed like the limits of this game, until I went further beyond and discovered cooking. Imagine living in a world where the difference between life and death is decided almost entirely by what you had for breakfast that day, because that's what cooking is to Caves of Quud. When everything is so mutated, even consuming the mutant will give you their properties, and adding more mutants to the dish will increase the possibilities of your ridiculous combination. For example, I can engineer a chance to heal to full health on any tick of damage. Then I pour acid on my feet and become immortal. Or I can use a mental mutation to spawn a huge number of plants that explode when you step on them, eat a gecko that gives me complete immunity to fire, and intentionally cause a chain reaction that turns the entire map into lava while leaving myself untouched. Or I could ask a gigantic sewer slug for his favorite soup recipe, drink it,
why I'm here. Cloaca surprise! That's okay. I know I'm calling out a lot of things I see on the screen because there are a lot of ridiculous things, but cloaca surprise has to be the best one yet.
To a gigantic sewer slug that stores, pressurizes, and spits entire rivers of acid. With all that knowledge, the only thing left is to go deeper. Many people go into caves, and they don't come back. Usually,
found the caves.
They have stupid names like Nutty Putty Cave.
Oh, that's a dangerous cave. Yes. Okay, if you want to be depressed and also scared potentially, look this up. This is terrifying, this guy that died in there. I love caves. I think they're really, really cool. That's all.
There's a mother out there that had to explain to her kids, yeah, your father unfortunately passed away in a Nutty Putty Cave. Do you want that to be you? But I digress, because everything I've told you up until now has been the surface of Quud. What does that
Here we
mean?
go.
It means
Let's
I've played long
go.
enough to see the game for what it really is. A series of challenges that appear impossible until you realize every problem has a solution. And once
Sounds
the
like
puzzle
life.
pieces click together, you'll reach that epiphany that the entire system is, by design, designed to be subverted. The sandbox wants you to break it. It wants you to achieve your goal in the most creative way possible. Let
Again,
me
just
tell you
sounds like
about the
life.
real Caves of Quud. For a start, we need a lot of money. We don't have time to earn it, so we're going to print it. Welcome to the lava economy, because lava is extremely valuable. 1 dram equals 16 drams of water. Okay, great. However,
Much
we can only
heavier,
store it
though,
safely
probably.
inside a 1 dram glass vial. A water skin holds 64, but starts burning the moment you put it in. Previously, I could extinguish the fire caused by the lava by pouring water on it and leaving the water skin perfectly intact for me to sell. The developers patched this out and reduced the
Of
value
course.
of lava twice, but that didn't stop me. Instead, I
Rude.
streamlined the process. Normally, fungal colonies produce lava, which is a good source of early money and parasitic infections, but their capacity is limited. We need industrial quantities. You need to find and identify a thermal grenade and a freeze grenade. Any generation works, but a Mark III is preferable. Next, we need bananas, either 6-day stilt or banana grove. Preserve it into sun-dried bananas, cook it, gain psychometry. Use psychometry to read the early history of every artifact in your inventory without paying for a data disk ever again. Get tinkering to level 1 so you can disassemble scrap and craft grenades. Go to the desert canyon, locate a nice pocket of shale rock. Quick trivia, what's the melting point of shale rock?
No.
1,000 degrees. Chuck thermal grenades in quick succession until it melts. Congratulations, we've just made lava. Fill as many water skins as you can hold and throw them far away. Now refrigerate them. Congratulations, you have now freeze-dried your lava. Head back to town and buy whatever you want.
This is the
With
most
Federal
broken,
Reserve forever printing lava, we don't have
complicated.
to worry about
It's
money
very
anymore.
fun.
Next, we need to metagame harder. Liquids are important to this game. Liquids are vital. Liquids also mix together and get tainted in the process. Would you like it if a woman stepped in your bowl of cereal? Don't answer that. At the 6-day stilt, there's a merchant of interest. He sells liquids, sometimes exceptionally rare liquids. He's going to be the catalyst to our success. But there's one problem. He's only one man.
I also like how all of the adjectives describing certain objects, like the painted bottle, like every letter was a different color. Like that's straight up what I would have done in like a middle school essay to like add some spice to it. I would have put like, you know what I mean? Like every single letter of the title would be like a different color. And I'd be like, here's my essay. You'll notice it's fancy. It feels very that, and I love it.
We need more. Have a look at my game. Now let's read the names together. Ichor Merchant. Clone of an Ichor Merchant. Clone of a clone of an Ichor Merchant. You get the idea. We're going to buy his cloning solution, pour it on his body, and watch him multiply. And then we're going to buy cloning solution from his clones to multiply them as well. Why? So we can buy more cloning solution to duplicate any merchant we desire. It takes some time. But first, you have to plant your crops before you can enjoy the harvest. Now we're going to buy our way to immortality. How? By purchasing every file of neutron flux. And then you're going to cook some gravity.
Neutron
flux
there it
gives
is.
you a permanent +1 to your armor value, with a 1 in 4 chance of gravitational collapse. Seth, I don't like those odds. Neither do I. Take a Sphinx Salt Injector, stab it into your arm, start cooking. If your body collapses under the weight of a neutron star, go back. Because that never really happened. Because precognition is a vision of the future, not the present. And if you don't like that theoretical timeline, you go back to a divergent point in time when you first injected that cocktail.
Also known as reloading the game. It's great.
around, live life,
Highly
and try
recommend
again,
it.
when the deterministic dice roll of RNG will give you the outcome you desire. Yes, this game
around.
has save scumming built into the mechanics. Reach immortality. Keep eating bananas. The potassium is good for you and good for your newfound ability to craft nearly every item in the game. Next, the one and only reason I play Truekin is to pacify the Templars. Unique Templars carry a very special cocktail. Unfortunately, they're extremely trigger happy and they have a tendency to inject it upon any sign of conflict. As a Truekin, I simply walk up to them and buy it for a pathetic sum of money. What is it? It's an injector filled with ether nectar. Injecting it gives you a permanent +1 to a random attribute, but that's not good enough. We're going to preserve it and condense the nectar, and then we're going to use precognition and cook it, which gives us a 1 in 4 chance of getting +1 in all of our attributes permanently. However, these are quite rare and I can't know if I'll ever find another. So first, I find a high-level merchant, clone them repeatedly, and buy metamorphic polygel. This is cloning solution for items. So now I can theoretically scale my character to an infinite amount of armor, infinite amount of attributes, and once I clone all the bookstores, an infinite amount of Schrodinger's pages that I can use to gain an infinite amount of reputation. And still, I get one shot by a fucking rusty saw. Remember that chrome pyramid I talked about? Previously, nobody actually knew how to deal with these until one insane madman EMP'd the force field, charged the chrome pyramid, and with a small flick of a blade, disarmed it. Yes, he ripped off the entire
and it spit out a
swarm rack.
folding
That
chair.
same
My
swarm
favorite.
rack can be picked up and used. However, the average player can only hold a weight of about 300. This thing weighs 1,500. So we modify it, reducing its total weight down to 0. But at this point, weight doesn't really matter. With the exact same method, I disarmed every other robot in the Deathlands and used them to craft spheres of negative weight, allowing us to effectively roleplay as a high-speed missile launcher. But even that was still not enough. I was tired of paying for goods, so I stabbed a merchant with a love injector and robbed him blind. Then I stabbed a legendary bear, so we could improve human race relations by sharing honey and the location of local beehives. I also stabbed the Pope, made him follow me back to town, and watched as he started a race riot because his reputation with the unwashed masses was not very high. Instead, I wanted companions that don't murder everyone, so I sprayed sentience on a block of concrete and convinced the block of animated concrete to follow me into combat. I found out concrete is not only indestructible, it can also hold weaponry in its hands. Unfortunately, my companion died when I foolishly tried to slam through concrete using concrete. I broke a concrete wall. I lost a concrete friend. But none of what I said even holds a candle compared to being a high-level Esper. Here's some examples of what you can do. Surround yourself with a permanent force field. Use instant transmission. Turn walls into lava. Turn brains into liquid using your mind. From the other side of the map with clairvoyance. Dominate every merchant to give you their life savings. Dominate a domesticated pig. Put a nuclear warhead in its mouth and turn it into a remote-controlled suicide bomb.
Oh no!
Split yourself into 7 identical copies with identical powers and turn the screen into a living nightmare. Use ego projection. Project your HP so high it doesn't even render in the UI. Die anyway. Reverse the outcome with precognition. Follow one of the billion divergent timelines instead. Tap the mass mind. Pluck sentience from the universe. Reset your cooldowns and do it all over again. As you can probably tell, it was so damn powerful that the developers had to code in their own countermeasures. Now, the more powerful you are, the more others start to notice. Your psychic glimmer increases, and other espers will come to take your mind for their own. The attacks become so brutal, the burden of power so great, that you might even be tempted in your moment of weakness to eat a fuck ton of humble pies, because in this game, the bakeries are owned by Nietzsche, and his pastries induce ego death. But the player will forever subvert the developer. Do you know how to end the pursuit? To stop the hunt? To escape? You have to accept first that there is no escape and allow yourself to be caught. And in the briefest of moments, you dominate your pursuer and kill yourself. Your old flesh is gone, but inside new flesh, your mind lives on. This game is truly exceptional, but it does have its problems. One, it's made on Unity. That's not immediately noticeable. But when a small cloud of gas accidentally falls down a pipe and has to generate 10 levels of dungeon for the sake of simulation, yeah, you're gonna notice. Two, sometimes an essential quest NPC contracts a fungal infection section and is regrettably chopped to pieces. Sometimes the sandbox breaks and you lose your progress. The game practically expects you to use console commands to fix itself, so don't feel too bad about it. Free. Most of the game is randomly generated, but you can tell immediately if a character is pre-written, because the first Tumblr fursona you meet will give you an option to ask about her neon purple hair and quirky way of talking. I like the writing in this game, but come on, disliked by the water barons for her queer appearance? Really? Maybe she just looks like shit. Listen, I can respect the fact that you can self-insert your OC girlfriend, but at least give us the option of dismembering her. And
She's not like other
I
girls.
want more. There's not enough of this world, and you're spending too much of your time banning me off your Discord for making reasonable gameplay suggestions. Initially, I dismissed this game as overly simplistic. I come back now to tell you how deep it goes.
Covered
Even
in
with
lava.
the time given,
Eyeless
I've only
crab.
told you a fraction of what I know. It should be noted that the writing in this game is fantastic. There's so much lore, like how the banana ranchers in this game are plants themselves. It's plants enslaving plants. It's plantation owners beating other plantation owners. They just work up the hierarchy. It's like my slave name used to be whipped cream. Now I'm whipping cream. The music in this game is very charming and sets the tone that you're in a completely alien environment where nearly every rock, tree, and flower is very much alive.
Would you say they have a life, have a spirit, have a name?
It's a beautiful, wonderful, and janky mess of a game, and despite being in early access, it's already given me hundreds of hours of enjoyment. As such, I give it a completely random, yet quantifiably high score, which can only be expressed on a graphical calculator. It's fantastic. It's not for everyone, and it's incredibly neurotic, but if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, give it a try. We negotiated a deal, however small, for about 10% off for the next couple of days on GOG. Follow the link, and you save a single $1. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. That content will consist of more than 4 pixels. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos, except this one is completely free because I can't make you pay money for abstract text adventures. You're all truly wonderful. Take care and have a good one. Hey people.
Wow. That was a lot. I still wish there was more to do with the caves. Where are the caves? I know where the caves are. And who knows? Maybe some of what Seth is not telling us has to do with the caves. But it seems like that would be the longest video essay ever, I think. And I'm not going to put that on him to make it. Honestly, I don't know if I would watch the whole thing. I would be overwhelmed by the amount of information given to me. But wow, what a world. What a world in which there are chrome pyramids and bananas farming bananas. Crazy times. Thank you so much for joining us. If you liked what you see, like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content, and I'll see you next time.